Welcome to Innovate Presents Entrepreneurs in Tech. Today, we're delighted to have our guest, Jessica Panigari, who is the founder and strategy leader at Goods to Load. Jessica, thank you for joining us today. And could you please start by introducing yourself and provide us with a bit of insights on your
Sure.
background?
Thank you for the invitation. I feel very honored and I appreciate it so much. So
It is my pleasure.
I hope to be good in this interview. So I'm 33 years old and I've been living in Dubai since the past 2 years. I moved here in January 2023. But as we can tell, my roots are Italian. And I always had these deep, connections for building and understanding how the things actually works. So I would say that this was something that was with me since when I was a baby. And my career as an entrepreneur didn't start in the logistic field. So what I'm doing right now is just like a product of what I was doing before. My very first experience started during the high peak of COVID, and I had my company of import export. So I was actually struggling, to expand the business over the border in Italy to touch some very hot markets such as Germany, France, and other countries that were really strong at the moment, distributing PPI and medical supply. But I couldn't really do that. I wasn't really able to, compete with these big fish because the logistic contacts that I had were little. So all the logistic service at the time, based on the lack of liquidity and the inexistent company history, were eating my margin. So my business was really suffering and we couldn't really expand at the moment until we met this brilliant lady from Poland. She was a broker and she was basically um, taking care about this network of logistic providers already disposed in the focal point of commerce all over Europe. So basically, those drivers were taking actions in a matter of minutes, if not like hours sometimes, and they helped us to multiply per 16 time the performance of our business from year one to year three. So that was
Amazing.
the moment that I understood, I can't be the only one that is struggling, and I can't be the only one who need actually a selection of like good logistic providers that can help me to scale my business over the border.
Amazing. Well, you know what? So let's talk about Goods to Load. Love the name, by the way, as I said earlier. Can you share the inspiration behind the creation of Goods to Load and what really makes it stand out in the logistic industry?
I would say that definitely, the experience that I had during the import export company was a pivotal point. Like, when we say like the haha moment, so that's the moment where these things, I see a future, I see something inside myself, and
Excuse me. Yeah.
nothing that I can take care about, that I can, make these things grow. So definitely happens there, and I tried to apply that system when the COVID was actually disappearing to the portfolio clients that I had, but with a different methodology. So in Europe, the most used type of transportations is the road freight. As you know, we have the European Union, so it's really easy for us to just like go all over and trade the same currency. We communicate very nicely in English. And then if you can't really take a logistic transportation, you can also rent a truck by yourself and you can go and purchase the items by yourself. So um, that was the moment that I developed that beta version of Goods to Load. So the name was Goods to Load because there was a brainstorming about what do we do? What do we do? We basically load and unload and move the goods. So that was just, a way of communicating in a funny way what we were doing at the time, me and my previous partner. But it was the moment that we understood that that service could be interesting for the other clients that we
Yes.
decided to offer it and see the results. So,
I'm sure you face some challenges of building goods to load, especially the technology end of it, particularly where you integrate non-digital logistics, provides into your platforms.
yes, yes, absolutely. It was the challenge, I think, and that's the reason why I do believe that these solutions can help a lot of realities, including the freight forwarder. So, when I came here by myself and I tried to apply the same system, I failed because, of course, the European Union is not there, the currency is not there, the communications language are different, and so everything was really different, and even the type of trading itself. So I had to analyze what was happening here, and then I had to face the freight forwarders. So as you can tell, it's a pretty male-dominated environment. They all comes from different backgrounds, so it's not easy when you have your own background and you basically related your own life only in that specific background. So I had to study the people. I had to study the behavior, and I had to explain them that being digitalized in a way that we were doing, it was just for them to create an echo of their work. So we're just helping them to be ready in something that in the end it will be or digitalized or dying.
Interesting. Let's talk about blockchain and how is blockchain really shaping the future of logistics, and how do you plan to incorporate it into goods to load?
So definitely, I would say blockchain. It's a very important topic that can be applied to many other fields, but in specific, blockchain to me, it's transparency. And what we want to do with our user and our freight forwarders is just to be extremely aware about all the entire situations that it's happening between the scenes. So there is nothing that can be changed after, and that's the beauty of the blockchain. And we see the applications of the blockchain to goods load because we are collecting a lot of data to understand the behavior of the user in order to let the freight forwarders maximize the performance globally. So we don't really want to take without giving. And yeah, transparency is the key, definitely.
Yes. Your platform, Goods to Load, focuses heavily on sustainability and CO2 transparency. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure, sure. So basically, what we did, it was creating a platform that was designed for the user. And what I mean with that, so we created some filters that help the user to create a profile of the logistic providers that can respond to their needs. So some sort of tailored service. And in that case, we decided to add this filter that it's called it Go Green. So only the companies, only the logistic providers, freight forwarders that are offering their service that are recognized by some entities that declare them green corps, so they are aware about the CO2 emissions, they are following specific path, will going to appear in that specific filter. So we want to push the people, first of all, to desire something that it's dedicated for the sustainability system and the perception of the sustainability itself, and create also a desire from the freight forwarder side. So the market is asking that, a lot of people are asking that. You can be placed on the top results if you follow this specific path. And most of that, since we already know, we are talking about freight forwarders. First of all, 80% of the freight forwarders globally, it's still offline. So we are talking about a big number of freight forwarders that really are not in a positions to follow these um, the sustainability aspect. But what we want to do, it's not only to create a request and a demand. We want to create a collaborations with partner here in the UAE, and we are already doing it, that can help these companies to become green.
That is important. Yes, absolutely. We'll talk about that in a bit. Jessica, how does your platform help small to medium businesses reduce costs and
Small
improve
medium
efficiency
businesses.
in their logistics operations?
So as I said at the beginning, I was myself a small medium business trying, to have a logistic service. So it was really complicated for me because I didn't have enough company history, I didn't have liquidity, I didn't have time, I didn't have a department of logistics that could take care about that, and I didn't even have logistic contacts. So I couldn't really compare which service was the best for me, and not any kind of tool that was helping me to understand, yes, these guys are really performing nicely, so you are investing your money and not wasting. So the software that we build, it's designed to satisfy and overcome this challenge for the small medium businesses. So the aggregation of logistic providers that we provide, actually we enroll on our platform, are responding some on specific aspect. For instance, green services. So if they have this badge that declares that they follow specific paths regarding the green services and green corps, they're going to be included. Of course, we are pushing the review system. So if these guys have been reviewed positively or negatively, we are increasing that sides too. So we want transparency in the performance itself. So no, we don't want the name to speak up, but we want the work, the meritocracy. So what we wish for our small medium businesses is to find an ecosystem that help them to make the process seamless, more easy. So we generated other cooperations with like smart bank companies that
Yes.
help, for example, small medium businesses to open business bank account, and other service, insurance for one shot service. For example, they want to import the goods and they want it to be safe and done it properly. They can have this service as well. So it's not only about the freight forwarders, but everything that it's related about the system of being a small and medium business itself.
As a female entrepreneur in a male dominated industry, logistics and tech are traditionally male dominated fields. What has been your experience, navigating these industries as a woman?
So I would say that I've been blessed with a lot of lucky here in the UAE. It's been such a nice journey to me, and definitely would have more to say about the European experience. Most of the people will be like probably, I don't know, upset about, but I would say that definitely, it's not easy to be considered
Yes,
easily.
yes, yeah, absolutely. Logistics and tech are traditionally, what was I going to say? Can you describe a particular moment you faced resistance and discrimination due to your gender, and how do you overcame it?
Well, yes. The first things that pop in my mind, it's definitely something that happens to me during my import-export experience. At the time I was actually sharing the 50% of share as my own business, but I always have been considered the secretary of my ex-partner, which
Oh,
there's nothing wrong with being secretary because that
but you're not. You weren't. You were a
the
partner.
absolutely, but I was actually the partially owner. So,
Yeah.
but since I was a woman, when there was a problem, I was the one that have been called. But then when there was a topic about decision making, I was never the person with who people wanted to talk. So I think it's really related about the perception the perception of man and female, and what fields they do belongs with some progress, you know, uh, opinions about that, I assume.
Oh, well, we'll go. I mean, I guess the next question literally kind of follow up on what he just said. What strategies did you use to assert yourself and ensure your voice is heard in the boardrooms or meeting dominated by male?
You know, I think I think definitely know what you're doing. So be prepared and be serious with your business. Um, are the two things that for me were the keys, to open different doors. And I tried my best to stay always on top of my performance. So I know my own limits. And when there are things that I don't know, I rather like not talking because everything gets judged in that specific moment. So I'd rather
It
be
shouldn't be. It
avoiding.
really should not be. But yes, carry on. Yes.
Yeah, but you know how it is. I mean, I think it's for everyone, but maybe it's a little bit more tricky for a woman, I would say somehow, um, in my experience at least. But definitely know your thing. Know your thing always. Be ready, be prepared, and be um, calm and really, not serious, but just like know your thing.
Jessica, have you found support and mentorship from other women or females in the tech or logistic industry? And if so, how has it impacted your journey?
So recently, I've been part of the Dubai Business Women Council of the Dubai Chamber since 1 year almost. And it's one of the best group I've ever belonged.
Wow,
And
interesting.
yeah, it is just amazing. And they give you so many opportunities, to speak with people that struggle with the same things probably that you are struggling, or they want to celebrate as much as you want to celebrate, but you don't have people that can relate. And just a few days ago, it was during August that I applied for these mentorship programs, and I've been approved for that. So I will be starting in these days, and I really need it. I really need it, and I'm really happy. I told you, like most of the time, I think when you're an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, you're playing tennis with your own brain, and it's just not productive at all. So you need a little bit of support.
I like that. Playing tennis with your own brain, back and forth. I like it. It's like
Harsh.
playing tennis against the wall, and
Exactly. So
basically
what?
that's how they teach you, how to tell you how to practice tennis, against the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very aggressive way of learning.
Yeah. Hey, it's okay. Um, Jessica, looking back at your journey and what you accomplished so far, what advice you would have for other aspiring females who wants to enter the male-dominated industries, such as logistics or tech, or other things?
You know, I think it's not an easy way to be part of fields that always have been belong to other gender. Um, but if you believe in yourself and if you truly love what you're doing, I think that you will be able to find a path. Most of the time at the beginning of my career, I spent, I was just like so worried about receiving a no that I just excluded myself before even having the no. So I think it was the worst things ever because you will never know. Like, you know that it's a no for you, but you'd never know what other people will think about that. So just be confident and be, aware that there are difficulties. Everyone has them, and you do your best and believe in what you do.
Yes, good advice. Believe in what you do. Absolutely. And never limit yourself. Never
Exactly.
doubt and limit yourself. Absolutely.
Yes.
That pre assumption of no answer to yourself is the worst you could do. But well, you're on the right path, I have to say. How do you think your perspective as a female has shaped the culture and mission of goods, goods to load?
Well, deeply, deeply indeed. Everything that happens in the software, it's mostly based on my struggle as an entrepreneur with my small business. So, based on the fact that I'm a woman, a lot of things that are perceived from my side were just like analyze and analyze and analyze again, and that's just the product of what I was struggling with. Um, but there is a lot of influence from everyone else outside because I outsource a lot. I don't think when you don't have liquidity, you cannot have employee. You just outsource.
Yeah, but sometimes you're in control of everything, like literally being a pilot, and everything's in front of you. So you kind of like able to maneuver and feel and move and
Yeah,
eliminate. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's a blessing also.
yeah, yeah. It is. It is.
Yes,
I'd rather be accountable of my own mistakes than
yes,
telling that someone else did it for me.
yes, yes,
I don't
yes.
like that. I feel like I don't have power and it's impacting my life. So that's just awful. So I rather be in a power situations of what belongs to me and what is the actions towards, you know, something that it's going in the future impact other people. At least I know it was my fault and I know from where I can start to make it better.
Amazing. Jessica, let's talk about your overcoming your challenges and growth. You moved from Europe to, United Arab Emirates, and obviously you reside in Dubai, and you had to configure a whole entire business strategy. How did you manage to kind of get accustomed to everything and living there, and you're able to manage this transition?
So it was a harsh transition. It was really harsh. As I said, the environment in Europe is just like different. I would not say the opposite because it's not true, but it's just so different. So I had to spend a time, and I know that for people that are struggling with liquidity, it's something that you don't want to accept because I think really the time is our only currency. But you cannot pretend to do things good if you don't do the things organically. So I had to go back, understand everything regarding, even myself, like what am I doing here? Do I like it here as a human? I am happy to operate here. Do I like the environment? Am I surrounded by the right people? I'm inspired by the people that actually, are doing good and what they are doing. So you need to evaluate entirely your life and see if it match with your needs. It needs
Uh,
to.
yes. Building goods to load, you started the business during the pandemic, and that wasn't definitely not an easy task to do. And you took on something kind of challenging. And what motivated you to start, to launch goods to load in such challenging times?
So I think, it's when you struggle that you understand that you can do things differently. It was a very specific moment for all of us. And you know how harsh it was in Italy. It hit us
Oh, yes. Italy,
very,
I think, was the number one biggest first, or the first biggest
I
country in the
believe
world
so.
that got hit hard. Yes.
Yeah. At least my hometown was really
But
hit.
luckily you weren't there. You were in Dubai.
No, I was in Italy.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, sure,
Ooh.
because it was 2020. So I was
Yes. Oh, that's
there.
right. Yes.
And then
Yes.
I had my 3 years there doing import export. That was the moment. I mean, but at the same time, you see, how delicate it is and how the people are interacting with that specific moment. And if those people were having a business, what were the challenge? So it was really everything. It's just the maximum level ever. Like I think if you're sad, you're very sad when there is this kind of situations, and when you're happy, you're very happy.
Yes.
So
Yes.
and the same was with the challenges. Like it was so obvious that at some point I was like, it's not possible that something like that does not exist. I mean, in the same way. And then I started researching and I found companies that were doing some similar work. And then I found, problems with the companies as well. And I was thinking and thinking and thinking what could be done better, like what could be the real solutions for that. And yeah, it was a very intense moment for everyone, but it's where difficulties happen that I think you are very aware that there is some work to be done. So,
Can you tell us about the specific challenges or failures that you faced, in early part of your journey with Goods to Load, and how did you bounce back if such, from such situations?
yeah, like again, as I said, like it was very ridiculous from my side to pretend that something that was working in Europe would work 100% in the UAE. It doesn't make any sense. But I think that also it's the experience, like in the like when you're in person and you experience those things, that you understand that it's not practical. Like it's just like ridiculous. And I had my very first version and it was dedicated only for the road freight. And sure, the road freight in Europe it's amazing and it works perfectly, and it could be an idea that actually would make some good money there. There were some existing companies as well doing the same stuff, but you know, uh, it wasn't the solution. Like the problem were the overall estimates, and I wanted to save money, so I couldn't really apply my fee on top of the estimates in order to earn. I had to find different ways, and at the same time, the road freight wasn't the only solution and not the right one for the UAE, because here
Yes.
it works a lot with the sea freight.
Yeah.
So that was just not the case, and that was my biggest fail probably ever.
What's your vision for Goods to Load? I would say, and how do you see the platform evolving in the next 5 to 10 years from now?
So, I'm really really caring about the sustainability aspect. So, I really wish we will be able to develop and amplify the dashboard of the freight forwarder that we already designed,
Yeah.
give them more insight data regarding the consumption and how to maximize the management of the fleet itself.
Amazing.
Even when they rely on third party, that's a huge challenge. And nowadays, I cannot really think about the solution. But it's a topic that it really stays in my head, and I'm thinking over and over. So one day might be that I will find something that could be interesting, and definitely to push the user to adopt sustainable solution as well, that maybe match their business too. E-commerce is blooming, so it's going to be a huge market in few years, over and over. But I do want to see something that it's more related to the sustainability, and definitely we hope to become the leading company, the leading platform, the reliable platform for the small medium businesses that want to trade.
Do you have a lot of competition first in Dubai? Like exactly for what do you do for Goods to
They
Load? Or
do
are
not
you
do.
the only one there now?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, so you pretty much gonna clean house there.
Well,
Very
still, I would say that our system of revenue is completely different. So
good.
we can position ourselves in a unique way. But at the same time, the old style always have this kind of attraction. And it's hard, to push people do something different when they are used to do the complete opposite. And
Interesting.
maybe reliable. I don't know.
Jessica, how do you describe living in Dubai? Is it motivating, inspiring, uplifting?
100%, 100%. I had a horrible week, as I said, but not because something bad happened. But you know how it is to be a solopreneur. Your
Yes. You're
moods
like a
change.
roller coaster.
Oh my!
Yes.
It's a mess. I really need a mental coach to keep my things together, because otherwise I'm just gonna lose it. But yesterday I received this request from this guy. It was really nice. Like, hey, there is this incubator is having a nice evening so network. Do you want to come? And it was tonight. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come. And it was a beautiful night. I
Good.
met so many entrepreneurs, so many nice
Amazing.
people, and that's really the quotidian. It's normal here in Dubai. Like every day there is something new to do.
Oh yeah. I mean, and interaction is always the best. The best way to motivate yourself. This is
Yes.
your mentorship, or should I say your motivating coach. Just interact with people, make new connection, and your mind just, opens up and forgets about everything bad and negative.
Yes.
Jessica, what advice you have for young entrepreneurs? As an entrepreneur yourself and who've been through it quite a few times, you've been through the ups and downs, you're building your own business. So I think it's fair to ask that question because you will probably know how to answer it best.
So, well, few advice definitely. First of all, remember to love yourself. But it sounds stupid, but remember to love yourself in order to be confident with your decisions. Don't
Yes.
doubt yourself. Don't put yourself under anyone else's opinion.
Yes.
And do good. I know even this sounds probably a cliche, but you know, most of the times you just want to obtain something because of the sake of money. And I really do not think that the money is the final goal. The real final goal is to inspire other people. So I might fail. So my goal here, Bob, is to, become on a well-known platform. But in the end, I'm not really sure about that. I want that, but that's another story. But if these things can inspire other people to do better, and maybe
Why
do
not?
something that's good for the environment, and maybe it's good for
Yes.
the society, then this is
Yes.
the final goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, what's next for Goods to Load in the next, I would say, rest of the year or beginning of 2025? Anything exciting or new would you love to share with our viewers or listeners or entrepreneurs in tech?
Sure, sure. First of all, we are gonna be exhibitor in GITEX in 2 weeks, and I'm really excited about that.
Amazing. Congratulations.
So it's gonna be a nice challenge. There is a lot of, other small, medium businesses, startups, any kind of fintech company, tech companies, any kind of business. We're gonna start with our soft launch there, and we are defining some enrollment of logistic providers too. So we will be in Riyadh in the end of November. We have been invited to Mobility Week as well. And yeah, a lot of events and a lot of possibility to be seen and tests. And well, we can't wait to launch completely the platform. So we're going to receive the best reviews, how it works.
Amazing. Well, Goods to Load. Be on the lookout for it. They're going to be released this year, 2024. Jessica, I want to thank you for joining us today on Innovate Presents Entrepreneurs in Tech. Be sure to connect with us on social media. Until next time, keep innovating, stay curious, and think out of the box. Thank you and take care.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to share Innovate Presents Entrepreneurs in Tech podcast. And if you're joining us on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time.